Hi. The following is an interview I had with some students at Telstar Middle School. It was a really fun interview, and I was quite honoured because I was asked, or at least I was chosen, as an artist of influence by one of the girls, Kimberly. Now, she had a couple of interview questions for me, which was fun answering, but what I really loved was some of her school friends joined in the interview to ask some questions too. And they all loved making zenkis. Actually, one of the girls was called Zenki Lover, and they all seem to have families of zenkis living in their lockers. Anyway, I loved the interview. Had lots of fun answering questions. I hope you enjoy it too.
I'm gonna give it to Kim to say hello and welcome us to this, and whatever you want to say, Kim, take it away.
I just want to say thank you for coming to this meeting. I really appreciate um you coming and the students coming. Yeah.
Thank you very much for inviting me. I'm very, very honored and very excited.
Me
So
too.
I'll share a little background because some of this happened because of a class assignment. In 8th grade, we do artist research, and Kim chose you and would like to interview you. And I think you have some questions prepared, Kim, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so what the rest of us are going to do is support Kim in asking these questions. She's got a list of them. And then we're going to kind of hold ours for a second. Although if you want to make emojis or whatever, or put comments in the chat while we're talking, that's always cool for Zoom, to just put shout outs everywhere. And then after Kim is done interviewing Trixie, you can all ask questions. And obviously we want to hear from you for your advice on our possible sewing workshop in March. You want to be part of your global kids sewing party. So anyway, I'll be quiet, and Kim, you take it from here. Oh, you're muted, Kim.
My first question is when and where were you born?
When I was born on the 6th of January 1959, and I was born in Sydney, Australia. And I'm still in Sydney, Australia.
Thank you. My second question is, was there anywhere else you lived in the world besides Australia? And what areas of the world influenced your life and your style?
Well, I've lived in Israel for a year. Oh, actually, twice. I lived in Israel twice for a year. When I was 18, after I finished school, I went and I worked on a kibbutz, which is like this big community where they all sort of work together. And so I was there for a year, and then I spent another year there when I had 4 kids, and we went over for a year, and just to live in Jerusalem. I've actually lived in Vienna for 6 months because my mother's parents lived in Vienna, and a lot of her family, she actually came from Vienna. So I've lived in Vienna for 6 months, and I think that's about it.
My third question is, why did you decide to make zenkis?
Well, that's actually a very sort of, it's an interesting question, might have a long answer. I actually didn't decide to make zenkis. The zenkis sort of just happened. I wrote a book called, I'll just show it to you. This is ages and ages ago. It's called Sew Together, Grow Together. It's very different than the zenkis. And I was doing workshops in bookshops to promote the book. And I was trying to think of what's the easiest sewing project I could make. And I was something because kids would come for an hour to sew, and it had to be really simple. And it had to be something that girls liked and boys liked. And first of all, I thought of a little cushion, just a little sort of, cushion made out of 2 pieces of felt and just 4 straight lines. And I thought, oh, the boys might not like making cushions. And then I decided to make it into a little person. And that person was Square Zenki. I don't know if you've met Square Zenki in the book, but that was Square Zenki. And his name originally was Zenkidu.
which I changed to Zenki, because in Australia we always make names shorter. And somehow then I realized, after making this little fella square Zenki, that I could make him round or a triangle shape or all sorts of different shapes. And the Zenkis were born, and it was nothing I sort of planned or thought of. It just sort of happened. So this little fella, whose name was originally Zenki or Zenki-do, became like, he was the first of all the Zenkis, and he just made me realize that I could make all sorts of different shaped softies, and I just called them all Zenkis. I hope that, did that explain it to you? Or?
Thank you.
That's okay. If you don't understand what I'm saying, you can always ask me to explain something.
My fourth question is, what is your favorite artwork to do?
What's my favorite artwork to do? I just love sewing. And that's all I do at the moment. I like actually doing embroidery on my sewing. So often I'll give the Zenkis, well, none of the Zenkis at the moment, but just embroider little things on the Zenkis. So I like embroidery, but most things to do with sewing at the moment. I tried doing all different sorts of art things, like I used to do folk art painting and calligraphy, but somehow the sewing just stuck, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. So I love sewing.
My sixth question is, what is your your least favorite artwork to do?
Least favorite? Don't know if I have a least favorite. I like experimenting and trying out different things. Some things, I'm better at. Some things I'm not as good at. But I think there's nothing that I don't like doing or trying, because you learn something every time you do something. I think, oh, I didn't realize that was as fun. So don't know if I've got a least favorite. Do you?
No, I like different kinds of artwork. I like anything.
Yeah.
Like, I would try anything.
Yeah, that's how you learn. So that's great.
Yeah. Okay, my seventh question is, what has been the most challenging thing with your artwork or with the Zenkis?
The most challenging, I guess, nothing about sewing the zenkis, because I'm actually really lucky, because my husband helps me with the zenkis. He's really good at drawing, much better than me. So he helps me draw the zenkis and I sew them. But I don't think there's anything challenging. I think the zenkis are just simple to sew, and I actually just love the zenkis, and I love making zenkis, and I love making more and more zenkis. And for me, the zenkis, like, there's never an end to the zenkis and how many zenkis I can sew or design. I have got a whole diary full of pictures of zenkis, future zenkis. So I just love the zenkis. So I don't know if there's anything challenging. There could be, but if I think of something challenging, I'll let you know.
My last question is, who inspires you with your artwork?
Oh, I get inspired by lots of things. Actually, I don't know if you know an artist called Kandinsky, Vasily Kandinsky. We just had, or we have at the moment, an exhibition at our art gallery here, the Art Gallery of New South Wales, and all his paintings. And I was asked to do a workshop with his, do a Zenki workshop with from his paintings. So I looked at all his paintings, and they're all full of these amazing shapes. And so I designed a whole lot of Zenkis just from the shapes we saw, and I did the workshop. I've got any art. So here's one of the little guys. This was just a shape in one of Kandinsky's, I don't know if you can see it, paintings. And we turned this little shape into a little Zenki. So this is a new type of Zenki that you might not have seen yet. I've got a new group of Zenkis coming out, and they're called second gen Zenkis, where The back has still got the, everything's part of the back piece, but to give the zenkis a little bit more, I don't know, color or design, I cut the zenki front shape in 2 bits, and I give it 2 different colors. So these are what I call second gen zenkis. So they're gonna these are going to be coming out soon in a book. So they're just a little different. But yeah, so at the moment Kandinsky inspired me. I loved his paintings, and the colors are beautiful, and there's so many interesting geometric and organic shapes in his paintings, and they just inspired the another 10 zenkis. So, but there's lots of artists. I also like Paul Klee, and you just look at artworks and you just can see so many different things. So inspired by anything and everything.
I also have one more question. How did you come up with the name zenkis?
Oh, okay. So this little fella here was the original guy, and his name was, Zenki Do. And I was talking once to my husband. He mentioned something about a Babylonian character called Enkidu. And I thought, wow, what a cute name, Enkidu. And somehow Enkidu changed to Zenkidu. And I thought, what a cute name. And like I sort of mentioned before, in Australia, we often shortened everybody's name. And I just ended up calling him Zenki. So his name originally was Zenki, but then I started creating so many of these little guys that they all became just called the zenkis. So it just sort of happened.
Thank you.
Oh, my
Thank you
pleasure.
so much. There is a question from the chat.
Yeah.
And would you like to ask this one, Kira? No, okay. No, all right. So this is Kira's question though. Okay. Could you try to make clothing with custom zenkis, or you can embroider your name for people obsessed with the same awesome obsession? Can you embroider your name?
Yes, under zenkis. That was the question. Can you embroider your
Yes.
name on zenkis?
Clothing, make clothing for custom zenkis. Also, there's a clothing question.
Well,
Ever-
I was wondering if you could make a little brand with your Zenki books where you could send in like a photo or something of a Zenki you've made, and it would be possible to turn that into a shirt or something for other people who are also obsessed with Zenkis.
I'm so
'Cause,
glad. I love that word,
I
obsessed.
literally put it in my description for my name.
So I don't quite understand the question.
Would you be able to put some of your more popular Zenki photos onto clothing for people to buy?
She wants a
Really?
fan shirt of your zenkis, a fan shirt.
A fan shirt. What's
Like-
that?
Like, she wants a
print-
picture of your zenki on a shirt so she can wear it.
Logo. Oh, that's a wonderful idea.
Apparel. She wants Zenki apparel. That's what she wants. A
Yes,
hat, maybe a hat. You can merchandise this. This is
Oh
what
my
she's.
goodness, I love the idea. I don't know how I do it, but I'm going to try and find out. That is amazing. Oh, yes, I'd love that.
Okay.
Don't have to, but I
Thank you
love
for that question, Kira. Does anybody else have a question that they would like to ask? You can put it in the chat. You can say, don't say my name and read it anonymously if you're really nervous, or you can just raise your hand and I'll call on you, or just unmute yourself and ask, okay?
Can I ask some questions?
I definitely have one. Are there besides Kandinsky, who are some of your other favorite artists?
Oh, okay. I love Gaudi. I've been to Barcelona, and I just loved he's got Parkway, and he's sort of just, use of organic shapes and the sort of pillars that are sort of slightly curving. And so I love Gaudi. actually love Hundertwasser. Again, this is sort of, you know, his sort of houses he builds with sort of odd-shaped windows. Clay I love, Paul Clay, you know, I love his colors and, you know, his magical gardens. I actually made a quilt once just from, because he's got the I forget what it's called now, the painting with all the squares, and it's really bright in the middle, it gets darker and darker. And I actually made a quilt just using hand-dyed fabrics to sort of represent or to look a little bit like Paul Clay's, I think it was called Magic Garden Quilt, but I can't quite remember painting. So Paul Clay, I like Hundertwasser, Gaudi, Kandinsky. After going to the exhibition, I hadn't seen a lot of Kandinsky's work, but after going to see his paintings at the exhibition, I actually fell in love with all his you know, his artwork and shapes and colors. So yeah, there's some of the artists that I really like.
I was trying to share some links with you guys, but the Clay is Klee, Paul. And who is the other artist that you mentioned?
Hundertwasser?
Yes. How do you spell that?
Ndert, Wasser, Wasser. He was commissioned to make some commission houses in Vienna, and they look absolutely amazing looking buildings. You know, again, this sort of, you know, towers and turrets and odd shaped windows, and his colors. And so he's, I just love his work. And my daughter, Yiska, she's a children's book illustrator, and she makes cute little characters, and sometimes we copy them.
Oh, so your daughter is a illustrator.
Yeah, I've got 4 children. So Shira, the eldest, is actually an art teacher, high school art teacher. And then Saul, my son, he works in marketing. Hesky, this third child, he's actually an academic. He works in philosophy at the University of Canberra, Australian National University in Canberra. And Yiska, the littlest, who's 35, is a children's book illustrator and graphic designer. And she does really sweet little characters. So she's my inspiration too.
I love it. Anybody else have questions that you thought of or that you want to ask?
Can I ask the girls why they like sewing? If anybody wants to answer, I'd love to know why you like sewing, and, you know, what was it about the zenkis that you liked sewing? I'd love to hear.
Go ahead, Kira.
I find it like really calming to sew. And I also think it's kind of funny how Miss Prescott buys these designed ones, so I can make really funny looking ones too.
I'd love to see some more of your sewing if you have. Is there anything that you find hard when you do your sewing, or that you don't like, or that's challenging, like Kim said?
Probably when I was working on like a cookie zenki that had like chocolate chip face, and I was gonna make like a couple of those in a milk. Because I was doing like one of those like intermediate where you flip it inside out so you can't see the inside.
Yeah.
I was trying to do one of those. It's kind of hard to do like a running backstitch.
To do a backstitch?
A running backstitch around the entire thing.
Oh yeah. How big was your cookie?
About the size of a really small coin purse,
Okay.
about like that big.
Yeah, I'd love to see if you ever can show me some photos of all the different Softies and all your sewing. I'd love to see.
Anybody have their zenkis right handy at home that you made? Like the
Sadly,
static?
no.
My whole family's in my locker.
I love that.
Now, those zenkis might try to break out of your locker.
Oh,
Very naughty
Me and
sometimes.
Callie have a whole
Yes.
gang of them in my locker.
Oh,
One of
good.
them is taking up like a shelf in there.
And they're actually behaving themselves?
Are they having a party in the locker?
Exclude me.
Yeah, they're rolling around.
Wouldn't that be funny to make a little like an animation about the party that your zenkis have inside your locker?
Oh,
Oh man.
I have
Oh
a
man.
basketball hoop in there, so they probably are partying.
I
Right.
love making stop motion with my zenkis. It's so much fun. I don't have so much time now to do it, but I used to do stop motion. Oh, it's so much fun.
Whoa.
Kids love being filmed too.
How did you get them to stand up? Did you use any, like, how did you do the stop motion?
Okay, so I actually often put weighting material in the bottom of my zenkis so they could sit, and then I just put like a little thing behind them. Or sometimes I get glue dots, and I can sort of put them on the wall. The glue dots don't last very, very long because of the felt, but I can put them around and move them, or just on the table sometimes and do the filming from above. But often the weighting material is really nice to give them a little bit of weight, and so I can stand them up and just put something behind them.
So there was a question about how much longer we might go, and really, if anybody needs to go at any time, you can. I think we might shift now to talk about the sewing workshop. So while everybody's still here, so I know you all came also for this. So I heard about your global kids sewing party, and can you talk a little bit about that and how many people are participating and kind of what tips you have for people who want to participate? Because it sounds like we want to participate. We're just not quite sure what that looks like for us, but any tips on that, and then we'll have time for more questions after that.
Yep. So the Global Kids Sewing Party again was one of these things that I didn't actually plan. The Children's Museum of the Arts in New York City was having a civic kids, whole year of civic kids activities. So I suggested Global Kids Sewing Party as a civic kids activity, and they liked it. And the idea was that kids or anybody joins in by sewing a softie, and then they gift it to someone in their community. And it didn't really necessarily mean local community. And the kids would just get to decide who they wanted to give their softie to. And sometimes it was just a neighbor, a teacher. They'd sometimes go to a local, old person's home, anything. But a lot of schools actually got the older kids to sew a softie for the younger kids, like a year K. Do you call it year K? Year K class or prep class? So the little kids would actually draw a picture of a little monster that they liked, and then they would give it to their buddy, and the buddy would then design it and sew it, the little monster from the drawing, and then they would present it back to the kids. So that's sort of the idea. Just it's a nice way just for kids to realize, or people to realize, that they can do something to help another person. And it was really fun for the kids who received it in that case, and the people giving it. Just shows you how nice it is to give something. So in terms of numbers, last year we had about 7,000 kids joining in roughly, and from around 30 different countries. This year I know we've got Cambodia joining in, Norway, South Africa, US, obviously, Australia, and can't remember the other countries, but yeah, really like the Channel Islands joined in one year, Ethiopia joined in. So the kids just, sew something and give it to whoever they want. And sometimes actually the kids just put it in a little package with a note, excuse me, and then just leave it somewhere for someone to find. So it's really, each class, each group decides what they want to sew and where they want to give their softie or zenki to.
Nice. So do any of you have thoughts about what you think should there be a featured project for our workshop? Does anybody have ideas for what that should be?
I'm thinking that we could possibly hang some zenkis from the trees on Valentine's Day, and we could also make zenkis for the children who aren't really going to get better.
You mean like a children's hospital kind of zenki donation?
Yeah, for children who never are going to get better.
Okay.
in
does
their
any-
lifetime.
Does anybody else have ideas? Thank you for sharing that.
I know that one class once made little hearts and just put it on just left it on different teachers' desks around the school on Valentine's Day or on whatever day they decided to do it.
We have been talking about in our 7th and 8th grade classes, sometimes we use our art to help the community. Every year we have an annual project where we do that and the kids discuss and vote and decide what they want to use their art to help with. And the 7th and 8th grade chose to support, promote the benefits of sports and support our athletic department. So we were thinking about, I think, making a possible fundraiser for the sports department so that if people want to give a donation, if they come to our workshop, we can do it for free. But if they give a donation, we would donate the money to the boosters program to support our sports. And since it's like our school, maybe something with the T-star on it, that's our logo. It's like a T over a star for Telstar. And I don't know if you had an idea about how that could be done in a zinky way, but like there's a star and a T and then something else that we would put on it. And like, how could we get a logo and a cool zinky in one?
Can you just cut out the T and the star from felt and stick it on? Would that work? I know that actually one school, they made zenkis and then they had a little stall at school one day and they sold the zenkis, and then the money that they raised at their stall went to whoever they were giving it to. So the kids were just busy sewing, and that way they could sew whatever they wanted, as many as they wanted, as many.
Yeah.
They had that little stall.
Maddie, you had the logo there. Do you want to hold that up again? If you, can you see that? I don't know
Yeah.
what, yeah, see that? That's our school logo.
I can't really think, unless you do like the star and the T from felt, or I don't know if you'd be able to get it printed on fabric and then cut it out and sew it around with simple running. Also, just so that you don't have to flip the edges in, you can just fray all around, depending on what fabric it is. If it's cotton, you can just fray the edges a little bit and then just a running stitch around the 4 sides. And it can be sewn like on the back, like, you know, if you have a little cape. We've got my little, where's my So this little fella's got a cape. So if you made a, whoops, I'm going to fall off my chair. So have I got it in okay, so this little super zenki. So if you add a little cape to one of your zenkis, then you can have your school logo
on the back.
on the cape.
Oh, I like that idea. That's really cool. Does anybody else have ideas or questions while we're right here? Yes, Kira, you have your hand up.
What's your favorite zenki out of all the ones you made? What is the one that is your favorite out of all of them?
Well, seeing that all the zenkis are here listening to this interview, they're all my favorites, because otherwise I would be in the bad books. But having said that, if it wasn't for this little guy here, there wouldn't be any zenkis. So I'm not saying he's my favorite, but I owe a lot to this little fella for being the founder of the Zenki clan. But they're all my favorites.
How many zenkis would you say you have made so far?
Oh my goodness. Hundreds. I've got boxes of zenkis. Like, this is just, just one of the boxes of the zenkis from the Zenki way. And I've just made so many. And where are the little ones? I don't know if you're, hold on, just watch.
I hope you don't mind. I have a little sister intruding.
It's okay.
Hello.
Could you show us?
Intruding.
Could you show us some of your zenkis? I know that was something for the research project that Kim is doing. What we're trying to do is have at least 5 images of your work on her slideshow. So if you want to like just show us some and tell us their story or whatever, that would be great.
I just show you. So I make the zenkis really, really, really tiny. Now there's the camera. So they're tiny, tiny little things. And this particular fella's got it's called a pin back. So I don't know if you can see the camera. I got a pin so I can pin him to my t-shirt. So my denim jacket has lots of tiny little zenkis. Oh, that camera with pin backs. So one thing I learned in my classes that whenever the kids made a zenki, they always had to make a baby zenki. So we'd make a koala and it had to have a baby, whatever it was. So I've made these tiny little these are called matchbox zenkis because he fits in a little matchbox. And see, then I also just made the same little fellow into a key ring. So there we go. So here's a key ring, and I just sewed him on the back. And again, like one of the little zenkis that I have was a Christmas one I designed. So I just made it really tiny. And so this guy then becomes a Christmas tree ornament or so. And again, this guy's just always that same little back piece, the things. And fringing, I like to fringe because felt is so good to fringe. So, you know, the hair and the zenki, the wings. Want to see some that, what have I got? These froggy.
I had a thought, what if it was a Telstar superstar?
Yeah.
Superstar. And that is the character, and you're gonna make your own Telstar superstar, and it has fringed hair and a cape. Like
Yeah,
she's
and of course,
and
he's got to have a little mask. So I've made a little mask for this.
yes, Telstar superheroes, maybe.
Here's a little dinosaur that I made, and he's tiny. And also, just to give him a, you know, this one's like sewing, so he's got a little tiny pair of scissors there. So, you know, just adding little things. Most of my zenkis don't have a lot of the decorations on them, but in my classes when I teach the kids, then I've got like pom-poms for them or little bits of braid or diamantes so the kids can decorate them. These guys are mostly just the felt. They don't add the decorations. But here's Pengi, one of the Pengis. So he's got a little knitted cap. There we go.
There's your clothing.
Yeah.
Knitting,
So,
knitting and crocheting, maybe.
yeah. So that's Pengi. What else have I got? I've got the little rabbit there.
You got some ideas, you guys? Wow.
This guy I've made, and he holds a little where's that camera again? Oh, there we go, USB. So I gave him a little pocket. So pockets for holding things are really cute. And then you just, you know, it's always running stitches. I love the running stitch because it's, you know, so simple to do. Actually, Melissa, I'd like to ask what felt you guys use?
So we're really lucky here that we have a place called Ruth's Reusable Resource Center, and it is a free store for teachers.
Wow.
So my school subscribes to this, and I get to go and I just sign my name in a book, and I can take sometimes there's a certain amount you can take, like 10 rulers or 20 of this kind of marker, but some things are unlimited, and felt is unlimited.
Wow.
So like there is shelves of these like 8x10 or 10x12 pieces of felt, all different colors, different patterns. And as long as I can make time to get down there, it's a little bit of a drive, but sometimes we have other teachers that go and I can say, oh, pick me up some of the, what did we have? A zebra fabric, pink zebra fabric. What was your favorite pattern that we had that we probably ran out of because you used it? What do we need more of?
Flower.
Probably that really
The
pretty one.
flower.
Probably that really
flower
pretty one
ones.
that was like kind of purple and blue.
The
Where it
purple
had
one, is that what you mean?
like designs all over it. That one
Flower.
was really pretty.
Was that what you meant too, Maddie? The purple and blue flower one?
I don't know, the one all my babies are made of.
Oh, that one. It's orange. It was like an orange and teal and green flowers, like a
And pink, yeah.
these psychedelic flower style. That's what it reminded me of.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So
That's what I
love
make all
them.
my babies out of. That's why I haven't been able to make any babies
you
recently.
read-
Even though I already
No.
have like 9 babies in my locker, plus
Only
Callie's
9?
huge one.
Fine. We need
Daddy.
more than
I know my locker's gonna be full by the end of the year. I'm gonna open it and they're just gonna start flowing out.
I think you guys definitely need
I'll
to have a
make more
Zenki
aunts and
party
uncles.
for all the Zenkis to get together and meet each other.
My goodness. So I have a question for you that I was thinking about when you said the global sewing party and giving, you know, giving gifts to other people. I wonder if there's any way to connect kids from different places in the world via this method. So maybe we could have like we send a stuffy to one place and they send stuffies to us, like
That's
a
a
pen pal stuffies situation. I don't know.
that's a really lovely idea.
A
I have
stuffy,
to
a
think
Zenki exchange.
yeah,
Yes.
that would be amazing. There was I used to run an event called Softie in July, and then we did do that. One of the ladies in South Africa organized where they'd get like little partners, like one it was like a single child to another child, and they would make zenkis and send it to each other, or make a zenki kit and send it to each other. But that would be a lovely idea.
I thought that'd be kind of neat because sometimes
Yes.
it's hard for us to think about what it's like to just not, live in another place or, and so anyway, any chance to get kids to connect with other kids around the world, I think is cool. So that would be neat.
Really lovely. I've got to think how to do that. If you have any ideas, I have everybody's who's joined the Global Kids Sewing, but I have all their email addresses. I can send everybody an email.
Is it like a gift exchange? Like I know that sometimes there's some software that supports a mass gift exchange. So maybe there's something there where people could sign up and they'd be like matched with,
Yeah,
going through one central place. Like everybody sends them to you and you just like match it.
yeah. I don't know. I can send an email to everybody who's registered and just ask any of the teachers if they want to do a gift exchange, and they can let me know too. I don't know what the place. You got a link to some place that does it. Otherwise, I think I can just ask anybody who wants to do a gift exchange. And would it be like one Zenki would be like child to child or school to
Yeah.
school?
I would
Okay.
think that way. I mean, wouldn't you think that would be cool? Like if you were sending a Zenki somewhere, would you want to know who you were sending it to, or would you want to be surprised when you meet a new person because they made a Zenki and sent it to you? Or would you want to like know the person in advance? You could customize a Zenki for a person. Maddie, what are you thinking?
Customized, probably.
Okay, so then we need
That'd
like a
be-
little questionnaire, perhaps. It's not too invasive, but like favorite things, some of your interests, so that we could
Mhm.
actually meet the person ahead of time through their survey, perhaps, get to know them a little bit, and then we make a Zenki for them. Is that what you're saying?
Mhm.
I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
Sounds good. I actually have a little, I don't know if you see like a Zenki worksheet where you could tell the name of your Zenki favorite food, what they like to do. So that sort of would be great for customizing it. So I'll try and I'll send an email out to everybody who's registered so far and see what the sort of interest is, because they'll then have to go back to their students.
Yeah,
And I don't know if they might have to get parental permission. I don't know how
I'm
all
sure.
that.
Yeah, who knows? But
Yeah,
anyway,
out there, but it's a really lovely idea.
Miss Prescott,
yes.
I kind of have to use the bathroom and I kind of want to eat dinner, so I might get going.
All right, it's all right. It's almost 7:15. How are we feeling, guys? I know I can't stand too much longer on Zoom just because it is,
Mhm.
it's been a little bit here. So what do you think, guys?
I'm going to stay on here as long as physically and mentally possible.
Okay.
I will stay here.
I have to get
because
going
all
soon.
the
Absolutely
Zenki
amazing.
makers
Well, I
are
will
the
I will
next
say
day I
let's
have to.
officially, for the purpose of this recording, let us say whatever you want to say for closing words to Trixie. You can put it in the chat, you can say it out loud, but what do you want to say to Trixie?
Thank you, Trixie.
You are an awesome woman. Keep up the good work. I will miss talking to you.
Oh, thank you so much. You guys
Thank
all are
you so much for doing this. Very uplifting way to end my day. And look at that mushroom there. What do you got, Kira? Mushroom?
Yeah.
She's a mushroom stuffy.
Oh my
I have
goodness.
a whole collection.
I'm going to stop recording now. Peace out, everybody. We'll see you soon. Thank you so much,
Bye.
Trixie. I'm not going to end the Zoom right now, but I'm just going to stop recording. All right. Peace out, everybody. Stop recording.